Dylan!
Congratulations! Grab a water, grab your medal, and let it shift up.
I can't sleep, I can't sleep, I can't sleep, I can't sleep, I can't. Why can't I figure this out? This is not part of the plan. Finish the marathon and everything will be great. But it's not. I'm a little lost. I need to figure out where to go from here. Hi everybody and welcome to today's video. Yes, today I want to talk to you about that post-marathon blues. What exactly is it and how can you go about avoiding it, or at least holding it back just a little bit after you've finished that marathon? You see, one of the things I pride myself the most in making these videos is just how open and honest I am with you, exactly how things are going with me in my training and anything that I'm doing, anything that I want to share with you where I'm trying to be the best I can be. And I have to say, after completing my first marathon just a little bit over a week ago, I am dealing with a little bit of post-marathon blues, and that's kind of affecting my training, that's affecting what I'm doing, and I want to chat about that today and kind of have a closer look at exactly what I think I probably could have done a little bit differently if I was to rewind the tape and what I'm going to be doing going forward. Now, really, if you are like me and you are suffering from something like post-marathon blues, it really should come as no surprise if you think about just what the last number of months were like for you while you were training for the marathon. You had set a specific goal, you had a specific target. That day is come and gone, and while you were reaching that goal, you had a very structured program where you knew exactly what to do on what day, and now, nothing. And this has happened to me over the past week, and it's happened quite quicker than I thought it would, quite literally just within hours of crossing that finish line. Now, don't get me wrong, crossing that finish line, answering those questions to myself, could I run that far, could I run that fast that far, was all great. It felt incredible, and crossing that line was, frankly, one of the best moments that I've had in a long time. And that night after the marathon, I found myself lying in bed just staring up at the ceiling, unable to sleep at all. I had so many unanswered questions on what I was going to do in the future. I was asking myself, okay, what is next? Now, of course, prior to running the marathon, I had thought about that. I had looked ahead a little bit, but there were so many unknowns with running the race, whether I would completely blow up, would I come even close to my target, what was going to happen, was I going to get injured, how much time would it take for me to recover, would I need 1 week, would I just need a few days, would I need 2, 3 weeks? I really wouldn't allow myself to think that far ahead because of so many unknowns going into the race. All right, so I want to lie this right out there for you. That 1 week after running that race, I only found myself running once. It was a short 5K. It was meant to be a very easy run. I had a couple more runs planned, but things did not go well that week. I was not feeling well. I was feeling down. I was feeling very, very unproductive. My diet had completely gone off the rails. And that one 5K that I ran took me until the next Saturday, a whole 6 days to even run that. And on that day, it felt just not right. So this is the perfect point in the video where I throw out a little bit of a disclaimer. If you are somebody who wants to make this your only race, your only marathon, your only ultra, your only half marathon, whatever it might be, or you're going to be doing other ones, but you want to take a big break from running 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you want your diet to completely fall off the rails, or at least not keep as quite on your diet, that is perfectly fine. The most important thing is you know you best, so you need to do whatever is best for you. Now, I know me, so I know that approach this past week hasn't been great. So now I just want to talk to you about 4 tips that I've come up with that are going to help me in the future from having post-marathon blues, and maybe they'll help you. Tip number 1 is, and I probably should pay closer attention to this myself, but go easy on yourself. Recognize what you've just done. Recognize what you just accomplished. You've just accomplished something that less than 1% of the world have been able to accomplish, and recognize that that journey that you've just been on from planning to run that marathon to completing that marathon has ultimately made you a stronger, better person. Hi guys, I hope you're enjoying this video so far, and if you are, head on over to my channel and check out some of my other videos, and if there's something there that you like, if there's something there you think you might relate to, please consider subscribing, let's get back to this video and talking about how we can get over those post-marathon blues. Tip number 2 is give yourself some A, B, and C goals. And I'm pulling this directly from what I planned on during the race. I gave myself these goals of where I would A, complete the marathon, B, complete the marathon under the global average of 4 hours and 21 minutes, and C, complete that marathon in under 6 minutes per kilometer. And I smashed every one of those goals. For this, you might be looking at more long-term goals like running another event throughout the year. Might also be setting a new PB at a particular distance, or it could even just be something as simple as remaining healthy for the rest of the year, even if you are not sticking to any particular race. But setting yourself different goals will have you something to look forward to in advance, and it gives you a little bit of leeway to work with. The one thing that I will caution with is make sure some of those goals are realistic. Sure, maybe one of them can be a little bit of a pie in the sky sort of goal. For me, that was breaking 4 hours during my first marathon, but try to set those goals as realistic as you can. Tip number 3 is have yourself a post-marathon recovery plan. Now, I'm not talking about what you're going to eat or drink directly after the marathon. That's all very important. But what I want to talk about more specifically is what you do for the weeks after your marathon. Have a post-marathon recovery plan in place in terms of what your running is going to look like over the next few weeks. Most marathon plans that you have, whether they're 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 18 weeks, 20 weeks, all the way up to 24 weeks, usually the last day of that plan is the actual day of the race, and they don't address directly on your plan what those next few weeks look like. I think you should do that, and I feel like I should have done that after or while I was planning for my first marathon, was built 3 more weeks in there on what I was going to be doing after the marathon. Now, there are a number of sites where you can look up some recovery plans that are separate from the marathon plans, and I'll try to remember to include a couple of those, a few of the good ones that I found in the description down below. Tip number 4 is scheduling. Now, I know I said earlier in the video that I was really hesitant about looking at the rest of the summer and putting anything concrete in the schedule because I was worried about I didn't know how it was going to come out from this first marathon. But I feel like that was the wrong mindset and the way to do it. For me, if I look at another A race, another marathon race, I'm looking to late fall, so several months down the road. And what I would do, just like working this first marathon, I would circle that date on the calendar, work back the 18 weeks that I plan on building for that marathon, look at between how much time I have there to now and see if I have enough time to recover. Do I need to take a little bit of a break from running? Whatever that might be. And also, since I have the schedule in terms of my training and when I plan on running that A race, I'm able to sprinkle in some other races throughout the summer, some other events that I might want to join in on. But I also know and I recognize that since that is far enough away, if something does happen, if something was to go really wrong with that marathon and it meant that I probably felt I wasn't going to be ready for that race, that I can bag it. I can make adjustments. I can go down from a marathon to a half marathon. Whatever I have to do, there's lots of time to do that. But committing to that race on a schedule would have made a whole lot more sense. All right, so I got a little bit of a bonus tip for you mostly because I just didn't know where to throw this in with all the other tips, but my bonus tip is around nutrition. For me, I am an all or nothing kind of guy, and if I am not eating properly, if I am not eating the healthy, good fuel that I need to properly train for my marathon or just to feel best about myself, everything else usually goes off the rails shortly after. So for me, one of the most important times to be eating properly is probably post-marathon. Now the day of, a day or two after, that's a little bit different. One of the first things I did after I finished that marathon was we hopped in the car and I went over and got a giant DQ Blizzard Dairy Queen because I've been craving that for so long. But having that diet on point for me is pretty important to keep me focused and keeping me rolling forward on what I plan on doing in the future. But again, remember, all of these tips, including the diet tip, is 100% what I feel works for me. Doesn't have to be for everybody else. You do you. These are just what work for me. So there you have it, 4 tips and 1 little bonus tip on how you might be able to avoid the post-marathon blues. Quite frankly, most of those tips are things that I probably could have done a little bit better with myself after my marathon. If you did like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that bell notification. My name is Matt, and this channel is What Matters to Matt, and what matters to me most is my family. I'll see you in the next one.